Thunderstorms are entering southwestern Wisconsin. How far into southern Wisconsin will the storms get? What impacts do they bring? And how much rain can you expect?
Plus, former President Donald Trump answering voters' questions in western Wisconsin today. We're live in La Crosse with what was said. And later, the CDC issues another warning about the deadly deli meat listeria outbreak over the past few months. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Well, good evening and thanks for joining us. We are going to start tonight with the weather, where potentially severe storms could move through southern Wisconsin later tonight into tomorrow morning. For more, let's check the first storm forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington out on the weather patio. Alex?
Armand, in southern Wisconsin, you can feel a little bit of that mugginess in the air, and it's that humidity that provides that fuel for thunderstorms. And we have thunderstorms right now using our storm tracker over portions of southwestern Wisconsin, where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. This line of thunderstorms is going to be entering Juneau County in the not too distant future here, reaching Camp Douglas perhaps as soon as the end of our newscast as it moves off to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. The storms are also entering Viroqua County and also the northwestern portion of Crawford County. Could be approaching the Viroqua area again as we move here over the next 10 to 15 minutes as the storms roll off towards the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. You may be wondering, will they make it across the rest of southern Wisconsin? Future track marching that line of storms right across the area through that 1, 2, 3 o'clock time frame. But our mom was mentioning severe weather. The threat for severe weather should be lowering as we go into the wee hours of the morning. If we do get an isolated severe storm, isolated is key as it looks like right now, and gusty winds would be the main threat from these storms as they move through southern Wisconsin through the wee hours of Friday morning. Coming up in Maine weather, I'll let you know how much rain you can expect and who will get the most rain, or at least the likelihood of it, with this line of thunderstorms. And then we'll talk about how nice the Badger game will be and how you should dress in just a couple moments.
Alex, thank you. Former President Donald Trump back in Battleground, Wisconsin tonight. Trump was in La Crosse for a town hall event where some people got to ask him questions about how he plans to lead the country if elected. We have team coverage of the event. Let's start with political reporter Will Keneally. Will?
Hey, Armand, we're just outside the doors of the La Crosse Center here in downtown. Now, we just got done earlier in the evening with that event with Trump. As you mentioned before, it's a little bit of a different event than you'd expect from a normal rally or stump speech. It's a town hall where Trump got the opportunity to take questions from voters. Now, he actually broke some news earlier in the event during an unscripted portion with the moderator, Tulsi Gabbard. Here he is talking about IVF.
For IVF, and I've been looking at it, and what we're going to do is for people that are using IVF, which is fertilization, the government is going to pay for it, or we're going to get or mandate your insurance company to pay for it, which is going to be great. We're going to do that.
Now, we did hear about 4 questions from audience members themselves. One of them, a local Wisconsinite, asking about the economy. Now, that's a big selling point for Republicans who are trying to contrast themselves with Democrats on that issue. Take a listen.
What's your plan to make life more affordable and bring down inflation for someone like me?
Well, we're going to start that up. We're going to become the energy capital of the world. We're going to pay down our debt, and we're going to reduce your taxes still further. And then you're going to go out, you're going to buy a beautiful house. Okay? You're going to buy a beautiful house. That's called the American dream.
Now, that line specifically actually received one of the largest applause breaks of the night. Now, these town halls are billed as ways for candidates to engage with voters. Now, we met with one La Crosse native, Megan Heschler, who actually got the opportunity to sit behind Trump during the event.
I wouldn't say that I am a Trumper, but I do support him, and I do believe that he has the means to get us into the next stage of just a greater America, greater productivity.
Now, this comes amid a busy campaign week. Certainly, we'll see Democratic VP pick Tim Walz travel to Milwaukee on Monday, and we'll see President Biden travel back to Wisconsin later next week. So a lot to watch out for. But for now, reporting from La Crosse, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris gave her first sit-down interview since she became the Democratic candidate for president. Harris decided to answer questions alongside her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, for the interview that broadcast in primetime on CNN. She said on day one, she would focus on the economy.
I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
Now, earlier today, the vice president rallied supporters in Savannah, Georgia, and to wrap up her bus tour of the battleground state. Now, as you just heard, Harris said she would elect and appoint a Republican to her cabinet. She also spoke about as you said, the economy, which she would focus on day one, inflating the middle class there. Before the interview, Harris had opened herself to complaints from both Republicans and nonpartisan speakers that she's trying to dodge scrutiny. Governor Walz will also be making a campaign stop in Wisconsin on Labor Day next week. According to the Walz-Harris campaign, the Minnesota governor will be in Milwaukee. There he'll speak about supporting union workers. No word on where Governor Walz will be in Milwaukee or what time he's supposed to arrive. And President Biden traveling to southwest Wisconsin next Thursday. It'll be his first visit to the state since dropping out of the presidential race. The visit will focus on small towns and rural areas, highlighting the president's policies to lower costs and encourage renewable energy and advanced manufacturing. The White House has not said where in southwestern Wisconsin the president plans to be. A new poll from Quinnipiac University shows former President Trump and Vice President Harris are neck and neck after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dropped from the presidential race. The poll shows Harris with 49% support, while Trump is at 47%. Third-party support is sitting around 1% each. However, when Democrats were asked, 98% said they would support Harris, while Republicans are supporting Trump at 95%. Support among independents is split right down the middle, 45 to 45%. And back to the La Crosse Center, which was filled with thousands to hear Donald Trump answer questions on key issues in the election. Some attendees included Republicans from Dane County. Our Ellie LaLiberte caught up with them after the town hall to hear their reactions. What did they tell you, Ellie?
Yeah, Armand, I spoke with the chair and the secretary of the Dane County Republicans, and they both say that they're happy with Trump's answer to those questions this evening. Now, although this event was 2 hours away from Dane County, they say Trump's response rang home for county Republicans. Now, one of the big talking points of the night was the economy and inflation, something that both say is a top issue for local voters.
I not only think that he spoke to Dane County Republicans, but he spoke to the entire Republicans and Democrats.
For us in Madison and Dane County, it's important for him to be out here and frankly answering questions. He's taking questions from the media. He's taking questions from voters in Wisconsin.
The chair also says Trump's demeanor was strong here in La Crosse today and hopes that the former president can begin to peel off some Democratic voters, as well as what he's calling a key demographic, which are suburban moms. But for now, reporting live inside the La Crosse Center, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. A Madison man is pleading guilty to a charge stemming from a crash that left an 83-year-old man dead last year. 26-year-old Alex Jung pleaded guilty to homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. Additional charges of homicide by use of a vehicle with a prohibited alcohol concentration and homicide by negligent operation of a vehicle were dismissed on a prosecutor's notion. And on August 9th, 2023, Jung was involved in a deadly crash near the intersection of West Wash and South Park Street. A criminal complaint alleges Jung was driving 80 miles per hour seconds before the crash. An empty bottle of wine was allegedly found on the floor of his vehicle. An 83-year-old man was taken to a hospital following the crash, where he later died. A sentencing date has not been set yet. A Wisconsin Dells Middle School counselor is being charged for sexually assaulting a child multiple times. Corey Alfaro is charged with second-degree sexual assault of a child and repeated acts of sexual assault of a child. Officers received a complaint on August 23rd alleging an inappropriate relationship between a Wisconsin Dells School District staff member and a student. The investigation is ongoing, and officers encourage members of the community to reach out with relevant information about the case. Madison police are looking for a suspect involved in a sexual assault case from last month. Take a look. On July 10th, officers say this man grabbed a woman inappropriately on Fourier Drive near the Holiday Inn West. He's believed to have a gray pickup truck with a gray colored topper. If you have any information about this incident, you're encouraged to call the Madison Police Department or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services says 2 people have now died from West Nile virus in the state, and 1 is in the hospital. Those cases are in Outagamie, Fond du Lac, and Brown counties. The DHS says most people who are infected do not have symptoms. If they do become ill, they experience fever, chills, headache, muscle ache, rash, and fatigue. Older adults and those with compromised immune systems should immediately contact a healthcare provider if they believe they've been exposed. The CDC says at least 9 people have died and dozens have been hospitalized in the country's largest listeria outbreak in more than a decade. Newly released federal records show USDA inspectors turned up nearly 70 violations at the Boar's Head plant in Jarrett, Virginia over the past year, including mildew and black mold and numerous insect sightings. The company has recalled more than 7 million pounds of deli meat and said, quote, food safety is our absolute priority, and they immediately addressed all the issues the inspectors raised. Sue Fleming became violently ill after eating her usual liverwurst sandwich. She was hospitalized for 9 days and spent another 11 in rehab.
I was concerned, literally, that my bones were going to fly out of my body. That's how violent the shakes were.
There's a human cost to this. When the food company, if they don't do their job properly, okay.
People die.
The two are now suing Boar's Head. Listeria infections can cause flu-like symptoms usually within 2 weeks of eating tainted foods. It's especially harmful to the pregnant, elderly, and those with weakened immune systems. Still ahead on News 3 Now at 10, Alex is back with a complete look at the forecast. Plus, if you plan on traveling for the holiday, you won't be alone. The record crowds the TSA is expecting this weekend when we come back.
The 72-hour Labor Day weekend is Saturday through Labor Day Monday only at Ashley. Get the best holiday deals on the latest home fashions, like this sofa, now $599, plus 0 interest financing for 5 years with no minimum, only at Ashley.
My son Joshua was 18 years old when he was murdered by an illegal alien. He was tortured, strangled to death, and then set on fire. When I hear Kamala Harris making a joke about the border and just laughing it off, it's painful. Kamala Harris was in charge of securing our border, and she's done nothing. If Kamala Harris is elected president, it'll get worse. If it can happen to my family, it can happen to yours.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Chevy lets you begin every day fully charged, so you can go farther. And so can your money. Tow with confidence. Plus, stay connected with available OnStar technology. For summer adventures, Chevy's got you. Get 1.9% financing on this 2024 Silverado when you finance with GM Financial. Or get $5,750 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
We would never hit 12 drunk. Clutch it up drunk? Not a chance. Do a stoppie drunk? We would never drift drunk. So you should never drive drunk. Drive sober or get pulled over.
It's only paint. It's only paint that comes in an award-winning twist and pour container. It's only paint that can cover the brightest shade of orange known to mankind in just one coat. It's only paint that will inspire you to write your masterpiece. It's only paint that will help you become TV's hottest writer, where one day you'll meet this guy who starred in that thing. So yeah, it's only paint. Only easy opening, smooth pouring, change your life both professionally and romantically. Paint.
The burn pit at our base in Iraq had just shut down, but the poisons were around us everywhere. Back home, I got diagnosed with cancer, but the VA denied coverage to a lot of us who got sick. Tammy Baldwin knew that was wrong, and she wasn't going to let that stand. She worked with both parties to pass a law. So now, thousands of us exposed to toxic chemicals are getting the care that we deserve. It took a fight, but Tammy Baldwin, she's a hell of a fighter.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Get the best mattress deals we've ever offered during the Mattress Marathon at Ashley. Save up to $1,200 instantly on top mattress brands, plus free delivery and 0 interest financing for 5 years with no minimum, only at Ashley.
News 3 Now is focusing on the issues and the races that matter where you live, with 3 for the people.
Talking with local candidates, looking at both sides of the issues and fact-checking it all, so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10, moving forward.
Well, it's almost Labor Day weekend, and people who are hitting the road can expect a mixed bag. Travel conditions are favorable for Americans trying to save a buck as prices are down for Labor Day weekend, but the Transportation Secretary Administration says it's preparing for its busiest Labor Day travel period on record across U.S. airports. And to complicate things even further, one major U.S. airport is still recovering from a cyber attack. Sherelle Hubbard details what travelers need to know before heading out.
Whether traveling by air or by car, millions of Americans have something to celebrate this holiday weekend: lower prices. AAA says overall it's seeing a 2% dip in the cost of domestic travel, and U.S. motorists can expect to pay less for gas. The national average gas price over Labor Day weekend last year was $3.81 per gallon. GasBuddy.com is predicting $3.27 a gallon for Labor Day this year, and people are taking advantage.
People are using their chance in summer to have one last trip at the end of summer.
So where is everyone headed? AAA says top Labor Day destinations are Seattle, Orlando, and Anchorage, Alaska. But travelers are being advised to pack their patience, especially in Seattle, where a cyber attack shut computer systems down Saturday. By Thursday, the airport was still trying to recover.
The biggest impact to passengers has been for those flying internationally and low-volume carriers. These carriers are not able to access our common use online systems during the outage and may still be utilizing manual written boarding passes and luggage checks. This has caused some longer lines for their customers.
Across all U.S. airports, the TSA is expecting an 8.5% increase in passenger volume compared to last year.
Overall, it has just been tremendous to see how many people want to travel.
Sherelle Hubbard, News 3 Now.
In Seattle, officials say they still don't have an estimate for when computer systems will be fully restored. AAA officials project that tomorrow is going to be one of the busiest travel days, not only at airports, but on the roads. Their suggestion is to leave before noon or after 7 p.m. if you're hitting the roads. Well, this weekend marks a Labor Day tradition in Madison. We're talking about the Taste of Madison, the largest picnic on Capitol Square. The event features 80+ food vendors, a variety of beverage options, and live music all day. Taste of Madison open both Saturday and Sunday, and guess what? It is free. And some storms could be moving through southern Wisconsin later tonight, but Alex, will the picnic be okay?
I think the picnic's going to be great. We got to get through the storms first. Then we have a picture-perfect weekend ahead for the picnic. Right now, storms are moving into the northwestern portion or the western portion right now of Juneau County as we track this line of storms. 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts would be the current threat from these storms as they move off to the east. Towards the end of our newscast, they'll be nearing the Camp Douglas area as they slide off towards the east along 90. Also in Vernon County, this line is progressing towards the east. Mount Sterling, 10:21 p.m. over towards Soldiers Grove at 10:28 p.m. and then over towards Lafarge as it heads off towards the east towards Richland County. It's also including the northwestern portion of Crawford County. We all are watching this line of thunderstorms progressing from northwest to southeast. This line's going to ebb and flow, and what I mean by that is it may bow out a little bit, bringing gusty winds to southern Wisconsin. That's the main threat with this line of storms. They're starting in southwestern Wisconsin through at least midnight. They'll peak between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m., including the Madison area, ending as we get a little bit closer to the 6, 7, 8 o'clock time frame. Gusty winds and heavy rain. The severe threat, though, is low because as we move in to further into the evening hours, we lose more of that instability, that energy for severe weather. But the latest updates right here with our future track, precipitation showing heavy rainfall over southwestern Wisconsin could exceed well over an inch. Much of southern Wisconsin, 3/4 to perhaps upwards of an inch as that line moves off towards the east. So gusty winds and heavy rainfall again to repeat. Here comes that line as we track it from 11, 12 o'clock, making it to let's say Wisconsin Dells over to Boscobel down to Platteville, west of the Dodgeville area as we head towards 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Gets to Madison, knocking on the door, probably with some loud rumbles of thunder as we head towards 4 o'clock. I'll be watching things here till 2, 3, and then Savannah will take over as well at that point in time in the event that we do get an isolated severe storm. As we head towards 6 o'clock, I said that the showers and storms would be pressing off towards the east, exiting southern Wisconsin, and that looks like that will hold true, although a few showers may remain after that main line of thunderstorms. Beautiful day, though, is expected later on Friday as skies eventually start to clear. High temperatures in the middle to upper 70s following this line of storms. And then we got the Badger game tomorrow night, kickoff at 8 o'clock. Beautiful weather. I said I'd break this down for you. 70 degrees at kickoff. How about 66 at halftime and a little bit cool at 63 degrees as the game ends. So my encouragement to you is to bring a light jacket, but let's go Badgers. Following the beautiful Friday, following those morning showers, look at how picture perfect the upcoming Labor Day weekend is going to be. 81 on Saturday, 75 on Sunday, probably no complaints there. Labor Day itself, 74 degrees, sunny skies, low humidity, light winds, and that's kind of a recipe with clear skies that Monday night for temperatures that could dip as cold as fall-like readings in the upper 40s.
And coming up in sports, one more sleep until Wisconsin football returns. What the Badgers say they're out to prove. That's next on News 3.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I was robbed. They tried to run me over with a getaway car. He almost killed me right over here. He was laughing as he fractured my skull.
Amanda's attacker was an illegal immigrant drug dealer, arrested twice before, but released by San Francisco DA Kamala Harris.
If Kamala Harris hadn't let him out, this never would have happened to me.
Kamala put violent illegals, convicted felons, back on the streets.
Kamala just doesn't care about protecting people like me.
Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series, gas, hybrid, or all-electric. These are the deals you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Make it Flex Buy on a new Ford F-150 and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $2,000 Flex Buy cash only at your local Wisconsin Ford dealer.
Get an 11% rebate on paint that makes your exterior projects easier at Menards. Pittsburgh's Ultra Exterior Paint is paint and primer in one with great durability, making it perfect for many outdoor projects. A gallon starts at $27.98 after rebate. Get long-lasting color with Pittsburgh's Grand Distinction Exterior Paint and primer in one. It's highly dew-resistant and provides a mildew-resistant coating. Get a gallon starting at $41.79 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider. So switch to Spectrum and get a powerful network that connects nearly 500 million devices.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with free modem, no data caps, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee when you level up to a gig. Call 1-855-735-1336 or scan to call.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming with the most reliable internet speeds. Get a powerful network that millions of customers rely on. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with 99.9% network reliability, no added taxes or hidden fees, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee. Call 1-855-735-1336.
Call now.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back-to-school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Luke Fickell has added Jack Del Rio to his coaching staff. The longtime NFL coach will serve as a senior advisor to the head coach and will assist on both sides of the ball. And speaking of the Badger offense and defense, both units spent their offseason working to bring back that Wisconsin edge. You know, that gritty, smack-you-in-the-mouth football. And this group says they're ready to prove that Badger football is back.
Just bringing back that tough, nasty, physical play style. Big guys up front, both offense and defense, just nonstop pounding in the ground. It was a great offseason for everybody. So bringing that Wisconsin life back.
Got a big group of just leaders, and I feel like it's just trickled down throughout the whole entire team. And we got a group of guys who take care of their business, and I think are very prepared to go out there on Friday night.
And just a reminder to check out this week's Wisconsin Huddle on Friday at 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. Ches Malusi stopped by to talk all things Badger football and even play a little EA Sports College Football 25 on the Xbox. Madison La Follette hosting Monona Grove to kick off week 2 of the high school football season, and the Silver Eagles had their two-headed rushing attack on display. First, it was Monona Grove's Thunder, D'Angelo Clay, bowling his way in from 70 yards out to make it 7-0 MG. Same score in the second, and it's Lightning's turn. Trey Havoc scoots in to make it a 2-score game, and Monona Grove gets the win to move to 2-0 on the year. Well, speaking of high school football, catch the highlights and the scores of the best games in our area only on the Final Drive during tomorrow night's News 3 Now at 10. Brewers looking to take the series against the Giants. No score in the second, and Garrett Mitchell sends one to deliciousness. Well, bounces it off the Culver sign for a single bacon butter burger basket with a side of curds. Who doesn't like that? The Crew never looked back after the homer. They win 6-0 the final. We're back after this.
Sends Bernie down the slide.
It never should have happened. The Waukesha Christmas Parade attack. 6 Wisconsinites mowed down by Darrell Brooks. Just days earlier, Brooks was arrested for trying to run over his girlfriend with the very same car. But Brooks was released on $1,000 bail. Senator Tammy Baldwin voted against increased funding for pretrial detention of violent criminals, making it easier for criminals like Darrell Brooks to terrorize our communities. Tell Senator Baldwin, violent criminals belong behind bars.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
Drive into summer with the rugged Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot. Summer is for exploring, so get outdoors, kick up some dust, get muddy, or just find that perfect campsite. All from Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So act now to get an offer you'll love. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or hurry into the Honda Summer Event.
You work hard enough. Take a load off this Labor Day with new appliances from Brothers Maine. Celebrate the holiday with unbeatable deals on top brands like GE Appliances, Cafe, Hotpoint, and Haier. Don't miss out. Shop the Labor Day sale at Brothers Maine today.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Donald Trump may try to deny it, but those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The First Warn Weather Team takes you beyond the barometer, only on News 3 Now.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, nominated for 5 Emmys, including Outstanding Talk Series. Weeknights on CBS.
And finally tonight, football season is kicking off, and practice is something many players can't get enough of. Meet the Seeker. It's a robotic system that can help players get in more reps in real time. Several universities are already using the technology. Chicago-based company Monarch says the Seeker transforms how athletes train by emulating passes, kicks, and punts from anywhere on the field. The Seeker enables athletes to train by themselves for the first time. So does it throw the ball and punt the ball and kick the ball all at once, or?
It's a robot, so they're just taking over. I don't know.
I wouldn't trust that. Can you imagine one miscalculation, it fires something at you at like 50 miles an hour or 80
like
miles an hour?
breaks a window
or a monitor.
Or a monitor.
Yeah.
Which we didn't do
yet.
yet. Knock on wood.
One thing robots can't replace is our meteorologists.
I'll use my technologies. Not a robot, though. Let's analyze the radar right now. That line of thunderstorms moving into the western portion of our area. Vivid lightning, that's all those white dots that you see there. Wind gusts to 40 miles per hour being reported with this line of storms, and also very heavy rainfall as well. Future Track brings that line of thunderstorms across southern Wisconsin through the 3-4 o'clock time frame. I'll be keeping an eye on things here, and we'll break in if we do get an isolated severe. And I want to emphasize isolated. We're not expecting widespread severe weather tonight.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on News 3 Now this morning.